For today's short video for RPG A Day 2020, it's day 28, and we have reached the end of my detour. And whether by coincidence or good luck or planning, and I'll leave it for you to decide which it was, we are finishing the detour with the prompt Edge. On the written blog, the Ghostbusters characters that we've been using each day to detail the prompts, well, they're literally on the edge, hanging out in space over this deep, nigh bottomless hole filled with villainy and peril. And of course, this takes them to the edge of desperation, which, because they're Ghostbusters, they react to with humor and a defiance of the situation in that particular idiom. Walking the line of nervousness, choosing to respond inappropriately to a life and death situation, so we might think, in order that they might get through it and get through it as a team. Edge, as a concept on its own, is something that we've brought up in a few posts earlier in this event, when we have talked about the characters having had enough, when we've talked about good moments to split the view and maybe do a cutscene to a different group of characters, or in some situations like playing Star Wars or something like that, you might do a cutscene to what the villains were doing. So we've looked at the idea of edge a little bit already. But as something to be acutely aware of, one thing that I like to look for are signs of things that, if the characters were real, should or would or could put them on edge. What is the line between where the character has full, conscious, calm control over their actions and where they begin to lose, or if they were real, they would lose that kind of control, where they would start to make mistakes because of emotion, because of fear, because of nervousness, because of greed, anger, whatever, where they choose to react physically rather than mentally, where they discard the best choice for the most satisfying choice. Where is that line? What is that edge? And are you, as the person not playing that character, are you in a position to see those edges, those lines, those boundaries? Is the character demonstrating them so that other people can see? Is the player aware of this idea, even as a concept of demonstrating who and what their character is? And what methodology is being used? How are the characters being envisioned? From what component parts are these characters made? And how are the edges of all of those components aligned? How are those components brought into play? Is this a conscious choice, like a writer with a novel or a script saying, well, I would like this character to have this weakness so that in situations like this, the character will have to respond like that? Is it fully on a cerebral level, maybe even before play starts? Or is it something that only the circumstances of play give you the material for thought to lead you to a conclusion or a decision, a choice about the character? Do you discover the character in play because of the way the character and yourself bleed and blend together? that vehicle of character and your particular interests and bias and emotions, the way that they fit together so that you can act through them in the game world, in that situation, right? Is this a discovery? Because that experience will be different with each different character that you play. You discover what you can do and when you can do it and why you would do it. Or is it a purely conscious choice saying, in this moment, what I think would be an excellent dramatic choice for this character would be, or in this moment, what I want to do is, and I'm going to push this character, relevant or not, into doing it. There's so many different variations of this process, somewhere between discovery and decision, somewhere between the self and the character, somewhere between before, during, and after. We can find these edges, these points, and I think this stuff is really fascinating. When we first start out playing, this is not a concern. But as we work our way through games, as we work our way through characters and character types, as we discover that we maybe have a pattern when we build our characters, and then from that pattern we work into a methodology, an approach, a certain type of skill, a learned skill for characterization. Our awareness of these edges, these boundaries, and our ability to manipulate them grows and changes. And it can be a whole lot of fun, once aware of it, to push for new edges, new boundaries, to try and find a connection or awareness of what it might be like, truly, to be someone else. Maybe, through that process and that experience, discover that our own personal real-world boundaries aren't exactly where we thought they were. Anyway, this ends the detour. From tomorrow, we're following the same numerical order as most everyone else. We're almost at the end. So, as we get the tail end, the very last edge of the most recent typhoon to hit near Korea, this one gave us a miss. It just edged by. As the rain falls, I will do a little reading of other prompts from other places and other people, and look forward to speaking again tomorrow. Take care.